Hey, what's up? How's it going? I like this format of watching the news. We're going to do this for a little bit longer before we get into what it is that I'm really going to get into. My ability to frame how long something's going to take is horrible. I get to it. It's just not as fast as I ever want it to be. I'll have links in the description below for all of these videos, but yeah, we're going to watch some news. This one's a little different. I like watching these channels where kind of with dating and how things are with men and with women. This one is called Better Bachelor. The title of the video, Men with Options Rule the World, live stream upload for December 17th, 2021. Oh, I didn't realize it was a stream. I listened to like 40 minutes of it, huh? Let's back up to 40 minutes. And I'm just not, we're going to listen to a story about kind of what's going on here and just how I don't feel sorry for this guy or this girl. Neither of them. It's just stupid.
Change it to where we take the two salaries. So if the guy makes 100 grand and the woman makes 75 grand, let me find something more mathematically comfortable.
I was talking about the wage gap myth thing.
So sorry, Edie magazine, but you guys made these rules. You guys made these rules, and now you have to live with it. We're playing by your rules. I'm not a top 20%er. I know any woman I probably end up dating would leave me for. Okay.
And this is something that they talk about a lot, that there's a lot of women out there where they're looking for like this magical, mythical unicorn. You know, these guys where they're 6 feet tall, have a six-pack, and they make six figures. And it's like, that's like nobody. That's like 1%. 15% of all men are 6 foot or over. Just with that one. Okay, well, how many of those men have a six-pack? It's like, well, just because you're 6 foot doesn't mean you automatically have a six-pack. I'm 6 foot. I don't have a six-pack. I'm not fat, but I don't have a six-pack either. And then you want to also put on that they make six figures. It's like, well, that's like nobody. Good luck. And then they make a lot of assumptions that these girls are just really stupid where, you know, well, I got a guy who did make six figures. I did get a guy who was 6 feet, and that they're so stupid that they can't understand that you're not going to get all those things. You know, it's not this utopian vision of perfection. It's like, no, it's not going to happen. Anyways.
The guy that is a top 20%er. I know this. So why would I get married to her so when she does leave me, she gets to take all my shit? We're not stupid. Doesn't mean I won't date. Doesn't mean I wouldn't be a good boyfriend. Doesn't mean I wouldn't, go out on dates and splurge for dates, and we go on ski vacations and whatever. But you better bring what I want to the relationship too. And then when you have...
But it depends on what you're looking for. I mean, I don't agree with what these people are saying. A lot of these guys on these channels, they're really shallow with a lot of the things that they say. So, but we're going to get to it here in like a minute or two in this, and I'm going to really shine some light on this nonsense.
Inevitably get bored or find a different dude or whatever, and you go, bye. I can say, bye, and it's over. But you don't get cash and prizes when you leave.
I completely agree with that. Women initiate 80% of the divorces, and it's like, no, you don't get cash and prizes and get to take the guy's possessions and his money and all this stuff because you decide to quit. It's like, no. It's like whoever decides to leave, it's like they're the ones who should be penalized, you know. And the person who leaves is not just a person who says, I want a divorce, but it's the person who leaves the relationship, which could be a divorce, but it could also be they cheated. It's like, well, you left the relationship and you started this other relationship. So now I'm going to file for divorce. It's like, okay, it's who left the relationship. Oh, well, you left the relationship because you cheated. Now I'm divorcing. or I'm just going to divorce because I'm not happy. Okay, well, now you are the one who's leaving. The divorce might be the first reason, or it might be the second or third reason, so it depends. Anyways.
All right, this is a really interesting story.
Here we go.
And this is from Reddit. This thing got 34,000 upvotes. I'm going to mute myself while I drink my coffee because people don't like to hear swallow sounds, I guess. And it has been upvoted many, many times. Like 34,000 upvotes. And it has tons of the little, I don't know what they call it.
Don't care.
The little icons where people like spend money. And so he says, I left her destitute. And this...
So what happened is that they were together for like 4 years. He got cancer. Things got really bad. She leaves. He recovers. And now she's like destitute or something like this. Kind of the backstory to all this.
Again, I have to be honest with you. If I was in a relationship where someone had cancer and they were going through a tough time, it would be tough. And it would be tough, especially if you're in this transactional relationship world. You know, it's tough. Like my father's going through issues right now. It's tough.
That's right. A transactional relationship. And he's going to talk about why this guy thought he was in a good relationship, which he was not.
Tough for my mom. It's tough for my family. But we're also going to make sure he's taken care of and he's happy and he's comfortable and he feels loved because we love him. But
and it's like he's kind of dumb. It's like, well, what did you just say? Let's listen to that little bit. If I can back it up just a little bit.
So, like my father's going through issues right now. So, it's tough. It's tough for my mom. It's tough for my family. But we're also going to make sure he's taken care of and he's happy and he's comfortable and he feels loved because we love him. But if you're in this transactional relationship world, they got cancer. I don't want to deal with all that. And their hair's falling out. Their hair already fell out. His beard fell out. Whatever. And it's easy to bounce. Well, apparently this woman left this guy when he was going through cancer, but he recovered. And he kind of snapped back at her. So, it says, my fiance left me due to my cancer diagnosis. I left her destitute. He said, this has been 4 years ago. So the sting is gone and my, quote, revenge has been had. Sorry if the...
So, listen very carefully here. It's the second paragraph that he reads right here is whenever it starts, which is going to be like in a sentence or two here.
This isn't the right forum. He said, we dated for 4 years and had what I thought was a great relationship. We were both well-established professionals who both owned homes in the same neighborhood and both with daughters in the home. Her daughter was 11 and mine was 16 when we met. We had actually planned to get married, build a house, and raise the 2 kids together. We planned the house build because she had recently been diagnosed with a neurological disease that would eventually put her in a wheelchair and need some
Okay, so he lists all these stupid things. We dated for 4 years. I don't give a damn how long you dated. If you just sat there with your thumb up your butt, you just wasted your time. You have to be intentional with this stuff. You have to decide before you start dating, what do you want? And then you have to look at those values and say, well, these are the values that make up what it is that I want out of a relationship, and I need this out of my partner. And so he lists stupid things that are not coherent to having a long-term relationship. And it's, we were both well-established professionals. Who gives a shit? We both owned our own homes. Who cares? In the same neighborhood doesn't mean a damn thing. Both had daughters in the home. Anyone can have children. These are not the qualifications of having a long-term successful family and a relationship. And then gives their ages. Doesn't matter. Plan to get married. Doesn't matter. Built a house. Doesn't matter. Raised the daughters together. Doesn't matter. None of this crap matters. Plan to build a house because she was diagnosed with neurological disease. Does not matter. How do these equivalent to you and her staying together? None of it. None of it. We were both well-established professionals. It's like, yeah. So there's a lot of other people out there too. So if one of you finds someone else who's a better professional, who's got more money, it's like, why not leave? That's what they do all the time. Found someone who made more money, who has a nicer home, in a nicer neighborhood. Who cares? So what? That doesn't mean anything. He said it though. He said, yeah, my father's not doing well. And we all stepped up to take care of him, to make sure that his needs are being met, that he's being supported and loved. It's like, oh, okay. Now those are different. When you date someone, you need to look at their past and their actions. Screw their words. When, like, their parents or anyone got sick, got hurt, lost a job, what did everyone do? Did they step up and take care of things and help out and do more? Were they there for those people? Or did their narcissism shine through? And they started to fight and argue and throw a pity party for themselves, making excuses, crying about stuff. It's like, what did they do? Look at the families where they've had the couples stay together, and it's like, they're going to have bad times. It's inevitable. Everybody's going to get sick and hurt and lose a job, and the money's going to be tight. It's going to happen. But there are people all around the world, especially from third world countries, where they're just dirt poor. And they have children. They have long-term relationships. They have marriages that last until the end of the time. It's not this crap of having a house, having money, what neighborhood you're in. Those are superficial, narcissistic, checklist, Santa Claus, this is what I want, bullshit things to ask for. You know, a good place to start is with those traditional wedding vows. In good times and in bad. In sickness and in health. It's like, yeah, it's not, you don't get to pick up and leave. You should look at your spouse, your significant other, as you would your parents or your children or your sibling. It's like, that never goes away. Well, why do you think that you should be able to get rid of your husband or your wife? Because somewhere along the way, things got messed up in here. And I blame society for a good chunk of that. You need to date someone long enough where you can get the story straight, where you need to talk to their friends and family about, all right, well, this is what my significant other is saying that they did. Did they really do this? Or something really bad happens while you're dating and you get to see it firsthand. Do they open up and say, oh yeah, hey, I've got this really bad thing that's happened. Somebody's in the hospital. This emergency's happened. Do they turn away and say, oh, I have stuff to deal with? It's like, no, that's wrong. That's absolutely wrong. That is the time whenever you should turn to somebody more than ever. People have this stupid backwards thing of, well, I don't need to ask anyone for help. I can do it all on my own. It's like, no, you can't. No, you absolutely cannot. You know why? Because nobody can. You're not a doctor. You're not a nurse. You're not an accountant specialist, financial specialist, a maid. You can't take care, and a cook and clean. You can't do everything. This term of, well, I'm an independent person, it's like, no, you're not. You know why? Because it's impossible. The reason why we have everything here is because people have come together to help in all these things. We have layers upon layers of all these things that shield us from how bad and how horrible the world really is. And we have more things than ever, and it's like things are more and more complicated than ever before because of technology alone has just drastically made things more and more complicated. Because technology's everywhere. Everybody has it. It's like, are you an IT specialist too? A computer tech specialist? Do you know about all of these things? Do you know how to shop around for a good doctor, make sure that you're getting good medical advice, and to fact check all this stuff? Well, what are you talking about? It's like, if you care about somebody and you're wanting to build a long-term relationship with them, then you invite that person into your life with these problems that are going on, and you see how they handle this stuff and how you handle this, because that's a telltale sign for what's going to happen in your relationship further down the road. It's like, oh, they didn't handle this very well at all. They actually kind of sucked at it. Then end the relationship. Why would you want to be with someone whenever they are already proclaiming that they love this person? They won't do anything. They won't step up. It's like, screw that. Well, why would they stand up for you whenever you're hurt, whenever they're not going to stand up for someone who's, well, this is your parent, and I'm supposed to be someone who you're supposed to love and care for, and you're not going to have me be a part of that? It's like, yes, what a time to shine. It's backwards clown world. And it's a lie. This is from the channel Steve Lato. Title of the video: Ohio mayor thinks ice fishing leads to prostitution. It is so dumb.
People ice fishing at Hudson Springs Park, and they had a debate about this, a discussion about this.
So, FYI, this guy, he is a lawyer from, I think, Michigan, if I remember correctly. But a lawyer. I don't know if he's still practicing or if he's retired or not. But
At a meeting, and during a city council meeting, the mayor voiced his outlandish concern that allowing people to set up ice fishing shanties at the public park could potentially lead to prostitution. He says if
that's so stupid that it could possibly lead to prostitution. What are you talking about? Where's a place where prostitution can't happen? It's like a prostitute can walk anywhere. You can have prostitution at a school if you wanted to. I mean, you see and hear about these teachers who get caught in relationships with these little children. It's like you can easily phrase that into being a kind of prostitution. May not be directly for cash. You can say, oh, well, you built this mall and you built this store, and we're not going to do it because it could lead to increased prostitution. You can also say, well, it's also going to increase the likelihood of terrorism. There are going to be some people who are going to go out there with some explosives and blow the ice and have everybody fall through and kill themselves. It can also lead to the increased rise of narcotics. But you can say that about everything. It's like, oh, we better not build that school. That could lead to an increase of drug possession and selling of narcotics or whatever. It's like, what, you think that doesn't happen on school grounds? It's like, yes, I knew kids growing up who were doing that stuff. There weren't a lot of them, but it was going on. And it was usually older kids who were kind of troublemakers, and they had younger brothers or sisters who were still going to the school, and so they would be kind of lurking around doing their bull. You can say this about anything, anywhere. It's like, oh, better not build that hospital. There might be some prostitution going on there. It's like, could there be? It's like, well, maybe if there's some people who are terminally ill and they come in and they say, oh, yeah, hey, you know what, I'm here to see my family member, but maybe they met online, because it's like, yeah, you're really stretching it with all this stuff. Like, I'm stretching it now. It's like,
if you open this up to ice fishing, which, while on the surface sounds good, then what happens next year? I don't know, more ice fishing. Does somebody come back and say, I want an ice shanty in Hudson Springs Park for an X amount of time? And
it's like, you can commit crimes anywhere, is what it boils down to. It's like they have it at schools where it's illegal to have guns there, they're gun-free zones, but they still bring guns, and there's still shootings that happen at schools.
And if you then allow ice fishing with shanties, then that leads to another problem: prostitution. Now you have the police chief of the police department involved. Just some data points to consider. I'm not sure if he knows what the word shanties mean.
Who cares? I don't care if he understands what the word shanty means or not. I care that this a-hole is lying. That's what I care about. It's like, oh, guess what? These people want to be there. So guess what? The chances that criminal activity is going to go up is 100% guaranteed. You know why? Because there's people there. You know, the only place that really doesn't have any crime is where there's no people. They have books where they write about you commit 2 felonies a day. You know why? Because there's so many of them. Because you can't police everything, but for some reason, people have it in their head that they can create this magical utopia thing. It's like, oh, well, we're going to make this a hate crime. It's like, what other kind of crime is there? You think people commit crimes because they're loving, caring people? Or do you think they're hateful, selfish, narcissistic, sadistic a-holes? Oh, you're telling me that people are killing out of love and mercy and tenderness? That mother who drowned her children, that was an act of love? It's like the hell it is.
Maybe he thinks that shanties is another word for underwear. I don't know. I don't know how confused he could be. Now, I've never gone ice fishing, but I'm familiar with it. I've seen it on television. I've seen it in real life.
Great for you.
And there are, but again, that does not lead to prostitution. Most ice fish.
And he talks about how the mayor brought this up because he used to be a reporter, and he did a report on the prostitution with ice fishing, and it's like, what are you talking about? I don't care if it's true or not. But they go and research it, and they're like, we can't find this. They talk to the sheriff, they talk to people who do ice fishing, and they talk to people in the government and civilians, couldn't find anything. And I think the news station that he was working for.
Comment about ice fishing, the permitting of shanties on lakes, and prostitution stemmed from my experience as a former television news reporter covering law enforcement agencies which have made arrests for acts of prostitution in ice fishing shanties.
It's this stupid notion of, oh, well, it's not perfect. There are these bad things that can happen. It's like, yes, that's called life. Bad things happen all the time, and you cannot prevent those things from happening at all. Part of it is that you just have people who are just stupid. And they're like, I don't know what else to do. I need money. And so I know I can do this illegal activity because I can't get a job. I don't have the skills or whatever. And it's like, I need money because I have someone in my family who's sick or who's in the hospital because they're hurt. And we need more because we don't quite have enough. And I need to do something because they're counting on me. It's like, yeah, I don't agree with the illegal activity, but I also understand why somebody in that position might turn to it.
When discussing proposed legislation, it is wise to discuss the potential for unintended consequences.
Yes, but that's not an unintentional consequence because there's you are talking about fiction. It's like, or is something bad going to happen out there? It's like, yes, at some point in time, something bad is going to happen. As with everything else.
A then attempted to check these claims and contacted multiple law enforcement officials in the state, asking them if they'd ever dealt with a situation involving ice fishing shanties and...
I don't care. I don't care if they've ever had it or not. I do not care, because even if they did, it's going to be an outlier. Because the overwhelming majority of these people, they're just going to go out there and they're just going to do ice fishing, and then way out here, there's going to be like a few random acts of some kind of nonsense that's going on. It's like, I don't care. Getting rid of ice fishing because a woman or two decided to go out and prostitute, it's stupid. It's just like saying, oh, we're going to get rid of all guns because someone with a gun went and did something terrible. Well, why don't we get rid of cars because somebody got in a car and did drunk driving or fell asleep at the car. You can make that argument for everything. That somebody somewhere at some time has done something ugly, nasty, and horrid with everything. You know why? Because people are all over the place. They're dumb. They get desperate. They get emotional. Things happen.
Prostitution. Officials in Ottawa, Erie, Ashtabula, and equipped like the Taj Mahal. I don't know. I've never been inside an ice fishing shanty, and for all I know, they're equipped like the Taj Mahal. I don't know. Maybe guys build ice shanties now that have, big screen TVs and comfortable leather couches and lazy boys and remote quinoas. Guys would bundle up either a thing that looks like a tent or on a floor of ice. There's ice. Now, again, if ladies of the evening are going to go out and start knocking on shanty doors, don't come knocking with shanties rocking, I guess. I suppose it's possible.
And it's so stupid. It's like, I do not agree with prostitution. It is nothing that I see that is good in any shape, fashion, or form whatsoever. But to say that you're going to regulate sex, it's like, who has sex? It's like damn near everybody. Well, what are you talking about? You want to know? Here, I'll help you. I'll help everyone out who wants to get around this for some reason. You know how you get around having legal prostitution? You say, we're going to make an adult movie. That's what you say. It's like, oh, this is prostitution. No, we're going to go make, I want to say the PO word, but I think YouTube gigs you on that. But that's what you say. Makes no sense. It's like, you can make adult movies until you're blue in the face. You can go pick someone up at a bar and do whatever you want to until you're blue in the face. You can go do whatever you want to with anyone who's willing, who's 18 and over, until you're blue in the face. Except for this. Except for this. That makes no sense whatsoever. It's like, you know what? I'm an adult, and I can make up my own damn mind. You're not my father. You're not my mother. Get the hell out of my face. I hate it whenever people think that they have any kind of right telling other people what to do. And if you think that there are some people out there that they're so stupid that they're incapable of making decisions of their own, then they shouldn't be out there in the first place. And these are people who are homeless, for example. It's like, yes, those people who are homeless and they've used prostitution as a means to be able to fuel their drug addicting habits. It's like, yes, but it's not because prostitution is a problem. It's because those people are a problem because they don't have the mental capacity of being able to make their lives out on their own. So if you're really wanting to do it, all you have to do is say, oh, we're just going to make an adult film. That is what we have. You can make up a contract. Anybody can make up a contract. You can make up a contract. You don't even have to type it out. You can literally just write it and say, we're going to make a porno. We're gonna do this scene, and you can film it or not. You can say, we're going to do a test rehearsal to make sure that everything's going all right. And then say, you know what, we're not. Decided to go against it. You can say, like, the contract is, we're going to do a test rehearsal. It's going to be for this much money. And if we decide to go ahead and go on with making the full movie, then there'll be more money involved. But just for kind of the audition, this is the way that it's going to be. There are so many laws out there that are absolutely stupid because there's a billion ways to get around them. And if you just give it some thought, you can work your way around. And so if some girl is wanting to go out there and be a prostitute, that's exactly what she can do. She can get some small room somewhere. She can put up some lights and she can say, no, I actually do pornos. And you know what? She could do that too. She could say, yeah, I'm going to do pornos. Here, put on something to cover your face here. Here you go. Pick one. Gonna do a porno. Gonna put it up on one of the adult websites. I said the word. Oh well. YouTube gigs me then. And you can do it. And the cops can't do anything. It's like, oh yeah, you do have a contract. Oh yeah, there's an agreement, but money here. It's like, oh, you do have a channel on one of these adult sites. Oh well, There's nothing they can do to you. Nothing. Anyways, moving on. Oh man, see, I hate this. I hate stuff like this. Here's Tim Pool. He's got several channels. This one is called Timcast, his Timcast channel. CNN goes insane, compares Joe Rogan controversy to January 6th. Leftists double down with new Rogan smear. He talks about, one of the things that really bothered me was that he mentioned something new that I hadn't heard of, and it's main character syndrome, which I Googled it, and it's actually a thing. And it's where people think that their lives are kind of like a story and everything revolves around them and everybody's concerned about them. And then he literally says that he goes off on that narrative with himself. All right, I got it backwards. There's two of them here that I have from Tim Pool. This one is from Timcast again, and this is titled Celebrity Slammed for Flouting Super Bowl Mask Mandate. LA requires kids to mask, but not celebrities. But he's going to talk. Listen.
Man, I'll say this. I think millennials are incredibly self-centered, incredibly selfish, and I think the Super Bowl really exemplifies a lot of it. Main character syndrome. You know what that is? It's where all these young people think they're like the main character, whatever the story is, instead of realizing that you are just a humble speck in an indifferent universe. I mean, not entirely, but your life matters. But it's not like you're the main character. There is no main character. It's just a bunch of people living their lives trying to get by. So they think the rules don't apply to them, or they think everything is about them. And I gotta say, with the halftime show,
the rules don't apply to them, and they think that everything revolves around them. It's like, I've never heard of this before. I had to Google it, but it's a thing. But that's what it is.
Debate over the age range of these artists. I'm like, really? You know, millennials are trying to take credit for a Gen Xer event, and I got the data to back this up. I understand you might be millennial.
And he's talking about this because during the Super Bowl, they always had that halftime show thing going on. They were talking about how I guess they had Eminem and Dr. Dre on there or whatever. I don't know. I don't watch the Super Bowl anymore. I haven't for years. I've never liked the halftime event. Even whenever I watched the Super Bowl, I never watched that crap. I just hated those things. I just thought it was just cringy and just stupid, and they've just gotten more and more outrageous. And it's like, I want to, whenever I was watching the Super Bowl, whenever I used to watch football, it's like, that's what I want to watch. I don't want to watch these a-holes out there, and I don't want to hear any kind of damn speeches that they have to give. I want sports. I don't give two damns about these Looney Tune buttheads out there. It makes no sense. It's like those two things do not go together. The circle does not fit into the square peg.
You're familiar with some of the artists at the halftime show, but dude, when Dr. Dre was coming out with his music, I was like 6 or 7 years old, okay?
And then here he goes. He starts talking about himself like he matters.
That music was not relevant to my childhood. You're not going to be alive as a millennial because Dr. Dre was 56. No. I mean, some of these guys are a bit younger, but millennials just making it about themselves is the funniest thing ever. And when I tweet out some guys, Gen X, and he's like, this is clearly a Gen X event, I get millennials being like, no, it wasn't, it was millennial.
You're doing it right now. Oh my God, Tim is doing this right now. He is making it about himself. He's talking about how, oh, he's too old and I don't like this. And it's like, you're doing it right now.
Nah, you're wrong. So this is it. Mass hypocrisy. At this point, how much do any of you care? We know they're liars. We know they're hypocrites.
Because he's talking
about going to stop anything. The general idea being, make everybody wear masks, and then if anybody is coughing or spitting because they might be sick, well, we don't know who it is.
Stupid mask.
To what halftime show is. So I definitely want to talk about the cultural implications. I understand these people are rich and famous. They do the halftime show, so Eminem during the halftime show takes a knee. And now everybody's screaming that it was a millennial halftime show. I'm like, no, it wasn't. Dr. Dre's in his mid to late 50s. It's not millennial, realizing that you are just a humble speck in an indifferent universe. I mean, entirely, but
Stairs suck.
No.
Slides rules. I'm rules. This is my stair slide.
That's actually kind of...
Your life matters, but it's not like you're the main character. There is no main character. It's years old, okay? That music was not relevant to my childhood. You're not going to be alive as a millennial because Dr. Dre was 50.
And so he talks about how whenever you go into a place of business or a company, whatever their target market is, they'll try to play music that was popular whenever their generation was going to college. Kind of tugging on the, what is that? Oh, I just saw that with South Park. I'm not going to play it because that will get me flagged, but I'll show a picture. I had a South Park episode where they had these things called member berries, and it was just making fun of all these companies where they're not producing anything new. They're just redoing the old things, being like, you remember? Yeah, I remember. And they're all kind of speaking, I guess, with kind of a Jersey accent or whatever. But that's what they're doing here with this, is they're pulling on those good old day kind of vibes going on. But then he talks about Dr. Dre. It's like, well, I don't like Dr. Dre. I was just a little kid whenever I was listening to Dr. Dre. It's like, who the hell cares? I do not care. No, I don't care when a song was. It's like, is the song good or is it bad? Part of that is the lyrics. Part of it is, how does it sound?
56. No. I mean, some of these guys are a bit younger, but millennials just making it about themselves is the funniest thing ever. And when I tweeted out some guys, a Gen X, and he's like, this is clearly a Gen X event. The capital seemed to be going wrong. Celebrities are like the victors. Let's talk about the real issue here. Narrative reports Sunday Super Bowl halftime show featured some of the greatest artists in hip hop, but it also saw Eminem taking a knee. The kneeling took place after he played Lose Yourself from 2002. I just want to remind you guys, I was like, that song came out, I was 15 or 16 years old.
I don't care.
And the song's not really relevant to me. I guess for a lot of 16-year-olds.
Why is it not relevant to you? It's like, it is to a little bit of a degree. Why are you talking about yourself? Nobody cares. Just like you were just preaching about how you didn't care what millennials thought about all this stuff. It's like, here you are doing it.
Well, they may have been listening to that, but I don't know, man. Kaepernick, former court. Oh, okay, there you go. The kneeling gesture became a controversy, blah, blah, blah. Athletes did it, blah, blah, blah. Detroit rapper raised his fist and raps, after that, this is for Colin. Oh, there you go. Ball up a fist and keep that ish balled like Donald the Bee. They have no cohesive culture. The only thing, this is what they have to offer. Super Bowl, man, you gotta love it. This is what it's all about. I'll tell you this. Officials, the DHS, were saying there's going to be a convoy-style protest, potentially at the Super Bowl. I thought that was a lie, and apparently it was a lie. I think they were trying to trick people into protesting the Super Bowl because they needed an enemy. They needed something, and they did not get it. No.
I agree with him on that. They like that because it's about clicks. He gets this part really right, that the mainstream media lies about this stuff. It's not so much for the things that he says. It's clicks. It's all about clicks. They want clicks. They want the emotional buzz. They want the high, and so they lie about stuff to get clicks because there's money in it. There's views in it.
Over the weekend, police cleared out the Ambassador Bridge, the trucker protest. You know, I was thinking maybe that's a more important story to talk about. It isn't everything. But culturally, I think the Super Bowl was just, I'm just seeing everything about the Super Bowl. And
it's just all this emotional-based nonsense. It's like, I don't care about your emotions. I don't care about your personal truth. I care about the real truth. Because you are not special. I'm not special. None of us are special. We're just another person. It's like, I want you to be able to live the best life that you can. And the only one who can determine that, who can really determine that, is you.
There's more updates on what's going on outside the protest that's developing today, so I figured we'll do a more comprehensive. People like to point out that the halftime shows are really for boomers, and they get like Rolling Stones and like older bands and stuff like that to play. And I'm like, yeah, but they usually still get celebrities. They still get like mainstream modern celebrities to perform, which I guess they did to a certain extent. But watching the halftime show and seeing Dr. Dre, Mary J. Blige, Snoop Dogg, Eminem, 50 Cent, and Kendrick Lamar, and I was just like, that's it. We don't got anything left. It's become so watered down, generic, and confusing. Nobody even knows.
That's the way it's always been, though. It's not. It's like he's just discovering something new for the first time. It's like, whatever, dude.
Hate that statement, and then make it seem like I'm saying I will never trust any news from this outlet when I'm not.
So in this other one, he is right. Joe Rogan absolutely should not have apologized at all. It's because he didn't do anything wrong. Speaking is. There's nothing wrong with saying any word. And the only reason why I don't say a bunch of words is because YouTube are a bunch of morons and they're just going to gig me. I've already been gigged and it's like, okay, whatever. And it's like, I just don't want that hassle. So right now I have to pick and choose my battles as you normally have to do with a lot of things in life. And this is just one of them. It's like, that's not what I'm here for. And Joe Rogan didn't have anything to apologize for because for one, he wasn't calling anyone the N-word directly. He was using it. He was just talking about it. He was talking a little bit about, I forgot what. It was just a conversation about it and comedy and something along those lines. It's like, yeah, it's just as stupid as Harry Potter and not saying Lord Voldemort. We don't say his name. It's like, shut up, man. I tell you what, if you're so pathetic and so weak that all it takes is one word to destroy you, or any words or a phrase, it's like, I'm going to own on you. I tell you what, I may not say certain things here online, but I will say them to your face. I do not care who you are, and I will let you hit me and get the first few hits on in, so then that way, whenever the cops come, you will be arrested, and I will finish that fight and take you down. I'm not going to play those games at all. If that's what you want to do, it's like, whatever. If you are that stupid and that pathetic, then I'm going to be your daddy. Every which way to Sunday.
Saying, I mean, right when you watch, you did it with my comments on the Second Amendment just recently. Why would I apologize for something I did not say? Joe Rogan didn't use the N-word. He said it in context. It's related to comedy specials,
so
documentaries, and describing.
That's right. What is this? I don't even know. I don't have what's CW.
Here we go. Now you got CNN. This is man, look at this one. Let me read a little bit of this CNN article. This is hilarious. The podcaster Joe Rogan did not join the mob that forced lawmakers to flee for their lives. Oh my! You know what, man? I find it funny, but never have I wanted to punch my monitor more than that.
Yeah, me too. I agree. I'll tell you what. Whenever Tim's talking about these CNN and these mainstream news outlets and the lies that they do, holy crap! He just knocks it out of the park with that. The rest of this stuff, it's like, shut up. Dude, you're just so full of yourself. You just shut your mouth, man. It's like, no, there's not going to be a civil war. No, China's not going to do anything to us. You're an idiot.
It's my inanimate object that I'm not doing the damage. But I'm just looking at this like, this is...
But they're saying this stuff, and this video and that article is just a waste of time. If you're looking to get news, whenever you're trying to decide who you want to watch to get your news, you need to investigate them. You need to do your due diligence and look to see if they're saying the truth. So that means you're going to have to know a little bit about some of these topics that they're talking about. And whenever you find someone who's reputable, where it looks like, yeah, they're not going to be perfect. Don't look for perfection. They're going to mess up on stuff. But it's like, no, you know what? For the most part, it sounds like they've got a lot of this right. And then you need to do it for the other side of the aisle. You need to play devil's advocate. So in that way you can hear both sides. I've heard it so many times where I've heard something on one side sounded great. Sounded like they really knew what they were talking about. And then you hear the other side of the argument, and it's like, oh, crap, man. This time I was way off. This was complete crap. Just completely messed up. Other times, well, maybe I'm still right, but I definitely have doubts about it now. It's like you have to do it. You have to do both sides of it. And you can't do it with everything all the time. That's why you just pick, just maybe 3 issues. Get to know them really good, and then find one place where they're reporting on it really well and another side where they're reporting on it really badly. And I guess one issue should be, I know what the right answer is. I've known this forever. It's very clear to me. I know both sides of it, and it's very obvious what it is. And I know that the other side is lying. An example of this would be pro-life and pro-choice. It's like, who's got the right argument? The pro-lifers do. You know why? Because they have pro-choice too. Because they had a choice. They had a choice to get on birth control. They had a choice to use a condom or not. They had a choice to take the shot. They had a choice to get together with this person, and they had a choice to get naked. They had a choice to get in bed. They had a choice to do the deed. They had a choice that they didn't use the morning after pill or the foam or any of these other birth control contraceptives out there. So arguing about exactly when life happens doesn't matter, because you've already had choices. You've had a butt ton of choices with this already. Why do you need one more at the very end of an already long line of choices that you've had? And so then go look at these media outlets and see which one is giving you the truth. And the one that's going to give you the truth is going to say that. They're going to say, what are you talking about? You didn't have a choice. You did have a choice. And then they list all these other things. And then the little caveat, though, is that, well, what if the woman's life's in danger? It's like, yes. And I have seen stories where, yes, women still die from pregnancy. And it's like, do they need to have an abortion? It's like, yes, they absolutely do. If the chances are looking extremely glib for her, where she's going to die if she continues on with the pregnancy, then absolutely. And use taxpayer funds to help pay for it. What a horrible thing to go through. Help that woman out. Help that family out. Absolutely 100%. But if it's this nonsense of, oh, I don't like the person I got with, I don't care. You made a mistake. Why should we have to bail you out? It's like, no. And don't tell me you didn't have choices, because you did. And do not try to straw man it and say, well, what about rape? What about incest? It's like, that's nothing. That's a different conversation. You want to talk about that? Then we'll bring up a different conversation, but we're going to finish this one first. So, yeah. What's the time? It's almost 50 minutes in, a little past 45. I'm going to go ahead and end it there. Hope you learned something. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope that made sense to you. It should have. I want to bring up-to-date, accurate information to everybody. I'm tired of the lies. And if you are too, then for right now, the only thing that I need is just hit that like button and subscribe. Share with others too. Appreciate you watching. We'll catch you again later. Thanks. Bye.